Travel through the depths of the sea in this underwater RPG as a great white shark. This power fantasy has you going from just a pup to a full-on adult shark as you eat your way up the food chain, growing stronger along the way. Starting as a pup, we make our way from a small lagoon eating up all of the smallest of creatures, avoiding the alligator predators lurking around us. The story here is the evolution of a baby shark into a full-blown shark. Across this timeline, the narrator commentates over our actions as if the gameplay itself were a nature documentary on National Geographic. It's a bit cheesy, but also entertaining and funny. Hearing the narrator talk about how sharks live by the motto, "Sure I can eat that," instantly got a chuckle out of me, and that was my take on the story as a whole. Nothing to be taken too seriously, but something to enjoy and laugh at as I wreaked havoc on the unsuspecting life around me. I didn't go into Maneater expecting a jaw-dropping narrative or the best new drama at all, and to my credit, there isn't a major plot here other than hey, I'm a shark and I get bigger the more I eat. However, Maneater dives into this power fantasy at full force and comes out with some laughs here and there. If someone were to ask me to describe Maneater, I wouldn't say a shark simulator, but instead a shark RPG. That in itself already sounds absurd, but it's exactly what this is. Embarking on our adventure as a baby shark, we swim through the murky riverbed, scrounging for food. A small grouper here, a turtle over there, easy snacks for a baby shark. It's not all safe travels for us though. Along with our favorite snacks, predators both big and small share our home. Alligators hunt down anything smaller than them, and while we can try to fight them, it's not an even playing field. That's the initial gameplay loop. Eat, gain XP, and evolve further and further. It's the illusion of being this monstrous force and destroying anything in your path. It's no doubt an entertaining and relaxing experience. Prowling the depths of the ocean as I snuck up on any unsuspecting creature was fun. Knifing the water surface as I quickly approached the sea boat just off the pier, it struck fear in the sailors but joy for me. It's the same delight I felt as a child destroying the city and Godzilla destroy all monsters, and it's that very same delight that drove me to make my shark bigger, faster, and stronger. With that said, the fun boils down a bit with the lack of challenge. Sure, there's large animals out there hunting us down, but the initial threat of them wore off once I knew how to deal with them, in the same sense that BTs in Death Stranding were scary, but only for the first 2 hours or so. If anything, the challenges I did feel were navigating around the different sections of the map. At any point you're able to pull up a map with all your main and side objectives. These can be anything from hunting down a certain animal or fighting an object hidden across the ocean floor. Anyway, all of these areas are connected, whether it's by a locked gate or by a hidden sewer tunnel that connects them all. You just need to find them and make sure that you're a big enough shark to break them open. In some of the earlier sections of the game, the environment is dirty and frankly just ugly looking, so it's quite easy to get lost searching for the right secret sewage line toward the objective you're after. Luckily, the bigger you get, the larger these new areas become, and that's where a lot of the fun is. Along with getting bigger, your shark picks up new skills and organs that essentially evolve it to be the apex predator. Their journey to becoming the apex is great, initially. Even though I love the gameplay loop, I also found it quickly becoming repetitive after the first hour. Keep in mind that this is a game that can be beaten in about 5 to 6 hours if you just go from objective to objective, maybe 10 to 15 if you take your time and enjoy the sights. Ultimately, Maneater is a very self-aware game of it being a power fantasy. If you jump into it with that mindset, then I'm sure you'll enjoy it for what it is, but if you don't, you'll probably enjoy it for a little bit, but then quickly get bored of it. Maneater isn't going to be remembered for its looks, but it's not bad looking either. Running on Unreal Engine 4, it looks more like an early current generation console game than something coming out in 2020. In fact, it has the same color palette as something like Far Cry 3 and other early Ubisoft open world games. Character models can look a bit cartoonish for my taste, but it's paired with more realistic and lesser looking visuals for the environment and sea life. I found myself getting lost in the soothing and therapeutic gameplay of swimming through the sea. The day and night cycle really adds this sense of life to the environment, painting these beautiful vistas to swim along to. I played this on the PS4 Pro, and despite this being the higher end version of the console, I ran into a few performance hiccups. Fighting off groups of fishing boats often introduced framerate drops that would make these fights feel like a chore. The console itself also got increasingly louder and louder during longer gameplay sessions. Those quirks aside, there was this sense of beauty to just being able to interact with this environment that feels so rarely tackled in games, at least from this perspective. Surprisingly enough, there is some voice acting here despite you playing as a shark. The voice acting comes from the NPCs around you though. These nature documentary voiceovers play along with your actions to depict what you've just done or a mission you're about to embark on. They're more humorous than cinematic, but for the tone that this game is going for, they work excellently. Hearing the occasional joke about sharks being these all-powerful underwater forces never failed to get a smirk out of me. Music is also surprisingly solid. Don't get me wrong, I won't be humming the soundtrack anytime soon, but for what it was, it did what it needed to do. What stuck out in my mind the most was the ominous danger tracks that would play when enemies would hunt me down. Having an alligator swim after me to the danger music not only raised my anxiety, but it was a thrill ride. Maneater is a force to be reckoned with. Its destruction-heavy gameplay was marvelous to play through, and slowly evolving my shark was shockingly entertaining. The RPG elements may sound gimmicky on paper, but seeing how powerful my sharks got over time was truly rewarding. Sadly, I did feel like things got repetitive rather quickly, and some of the performance issues on my Pro console no doubt means that this will run worse on lower spec consoles. There is fun to be had here, but only if you level your expectations with the gameplay loop, and even then, it's not something I'd recommend getting unless you can find it on sale. It's just a bit too short and repetitive for most of it, even if I did have fun at first.